it's where I feel my happiest, is on the Bridgerton set.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Not in Birmingham?
Hey, listen.
Are you all right?
That goes without saying.
Dearest gentle reader, welcome back to the Bridgerton podcast. I'm Lady Alison Hammond, your host for the event of the season. This is the podcast where I sit down for high tea and bonbons with the stars of Bridgerton, plus a few of the talented individuals who bring the ton to life. But first, a spoiler warning. We are going to be doing a deep dive on the new season of Bridgerton. So if you haven't already seen the first 4 episodes of season 4 on Netflix, you better do it now. Have you watched it? Great, isn't it? It's a family affair today, as I'll be hosting members of Mayfair's most respectable family, the Bridgertons. We have Hannah Dodd and Claudia Jessie, aka sisters Francesca and Eloise. I'll be chatting about avoiding suitors and keeping your biscuits warm, if you know what I mean. Then we have a fan favourite, Mama Bridgerton herself, Ruth Gemmell. Yes, Lady Violet will be joining us with Luke Thompson, who plays her wayward son, Benedict, for a lovely chat and probably a bit of family therapy, to be honest with you. Now, let's hop off the shelf and have a good old natter with Bridgerton sisters, Hannah Dodd and Claudia Jessie. Hannah, Claudia, welcome to Bridgerton.
Look at this.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's so beautiful.
Look at the moving wisteria.
It's everything. Well, welcome. I hope you feel at home.
Yeah.
So, part 1, girls, let's get into this. You both are kind of outsiders in the family a little bit, but where are we finding you both now? Do you still both love each other?
Can you imagine that's how we started the season? Like,
I know. Oh, well, I don't know. You might be sick of Eloise because she sort of gate crashed your honeymoon, really.
absolutely not. We've seen us coming out of that carriage together.
Yeah, she's buzzing to get home. We've just come back from Scotland
Yes.
and apparently Eloise is done.
She's done.
Over it.
She's not feeling it, is she?
No, I don't know that Scotland went as planned, as to plan as we were hoping for, but I'm not sick of you at all.
That's good.
No.
That's good. I think they're ready to be home. I think both of them want to be home a little bit.
Yeah. Scotland was crowded and also empty all at the same time.
Yeah, too much for you, too little for Eloise.
Exactly.
But yeah, they're on good terms, of course.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's lovely. But obviously, a lot of pressure to produce an heir at the moment. I mean, how did you deal with that situation?
She was under a lot of pressure last season with the ton and trying to meet a husband and then trusting her gut and going with the husband that she actually wants. And then now she's got new pressure with trying to produce an heir. I think like every stage of life for a woman in this era, in every era, is stressful and there's a lot of pressure. I know, and I think with that pressure that she's putting on herself, it doesn't help things either. But also she's got no information. So she's running around town, bless her, trying to work out what it is that she's meant to be doing, which is really cute.
She's very anxious, isn't she?
She's a little bit anxious, yeah.
What about you two in general? Do you love working with each other now?
Oh, yeah.
Is it just like being at home?
I got the gig like nearly 7 years ago, which is mad to think. And as soon as we're back on set, it's as bonkers as always. For example, like the drawing room scenes when we're in the like Bridgerton living room or whatever, that's when we're all going nuts. By like 11:15, we're shattered because we've just been laughing so much, been badly behaved and stuff. But it's where I feel my happiest, is on the Bridgerton set.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Not in Birmingham?
Hey, listen.
Are you all right?
That goes without saying. Work-wise,
I just found out that we've got the same waxing
we go to the same
lady.
waxing place. Big shout out to Vanessa, by the way. Taking care of me and Alison.
In every way. Let's talk. Well, I don't know why I've gone to this subject, but let's talk about the Pinnacle. Like, literally.
Whilst we're down there.
Whilst we're down there, let's talk about the Pinnacle, because honestly, that mix of comedy but also vulnerability, it's such a lovely, it's so wonderful. And when Nicola explains it,
I know.
Penelope, it's just brilliant.
I mean, thank goodness she does, because Ruth was useless.
Yeah, Mum's never been good at telling the girls
not
what an
been
orgasm is.
Not been brilliant in that department.
Was it nice exploring that side of her, though?
I just really feel for her in the sense that, like, how is she meant to find this out? Especially when they are two introverts. So then it's not a conversation that John and Fran are having. And if she's not had this information where else is she going to go to get it other
know.
than the women in her life? So it is so nice to see her. I mean, first of all, obviously she does try mum, but the fact that she can actually rely on Penelope to give her the actual information that she
Literally.
needs. But that's kind of a savage scene for you because you walk in and we're like, we're married.
Yeah, they're all having this
You won't
secret
get
conversation.
it.
I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, Eloise, how do you think Eloise felt seeing her sister with her bestie?
Eloise is like so determined to sort of pave her own way. But then I think she's so many roadblocks all the time, whether it's like realizing that she might make a decision for herself and be like, oh, I'm going to try and be on the shelf, for example, and then sees why that's going to be so difficult. Or I'm going to try and just live independently and then sees all of the people around her sort of falling in love. And I just think she just needs to find a way of it becoming like a happy medium for her,
Yeah.
I think. And it's great. I feel like Eloise learns something huge every season. And it's the age that you would. I guess she's, so young.
I mean, even Hyacinth, she's at it as well, do you know what I mean?
She can't get enough of the stuff. She wants all parts of
You're
it.
literally surrounded by marriage. Everyone's saying,
Yeah,
put a
yeah.
ring on it.
Yeah, I know. And she's like, no, it's all the single ladies.
How much do you think Eloise has grown throughout the seasons?
I'd say a great amount, and that's a lot through the friendship she has with Penelope.
Yeah.
There's something about your family, they know you so well, and there's the unconditional stuff she has with her siblings and mum. But I've said before, like, I think there's a bit of a lovable, like, eye roll with the family, with Eloise, like Eloise doing her thing again. But I think with the friendship she has with Penelope and their breakup, in previous seasons,
Yeah.
like, I think that's where she got to do a lot of her growth, really. Because I think Penelope and Eloise found out who they were a little bit more apart, actually. But there's still loads more for her to do. But it's lovely that each time it's from another person has taught her something. I think she learns those from Fran. I think she learns from Hyacinth, Penelope. I hope it works out perfectly and in the way that Eloise wants it to. That's what I hope.
How much fun do you have with that Nicola?
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't have fun with Nicola? With that Nicola.
With that, Nicola.
Do you know we've got the same hairdressers?
Well, technically, so do me and you.
Literally, we're all got the same people.
People are... Oh, my God.
Don't be asking Vanessa any questions about me.
Was she
next
liking
time
it?
you go.
Yeah, don't you?
Not
same
at all.
for you?
I'm not having any of that. Can I just say that lovely sibling heart-to-heart that you have on the swing with your brother is such a beautiful, sweet moment at the clubhouse.
Yeah. Me and Luke have always looked forward to those scenes and
Yeah.
hoped they reoccurred in every season. But I think there's room for that to be a bit of a shift as well in this season. I think it's a safe place for Eloise. I think she probably just goes out there to think. It's a really romantic way of showing like connection.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I do love those scenes.
Me too, me too. And obviously, Michaela, she comes into the scene. You ain't happy, are you?
I know. Well, she always kind of like messes things up a little bit, doesn't she? But in the best way possible. I think she's just like a tornado of energy that like definitely does something to Francesca. And I think she finds her quite a confronting presence.
Yeah. Do you think there's any room that you could possibly grow friends at some point?
Like you said, is there any room for her? It's like, we've not got a very big house at Bridgerton.
We don't want her
There's
around.
no space. No, I think they need to work each other. I think they're very different people. And I think Francesca she's got a lot on her plate at the moment and she needs to work it through methodically. And yeah, Michaela's an energy that kind of messes everything up. And I think she just she wants to feel like she's doing things right. And she's the complete opposite. She wants to see like Francesca a bit uncomfortable and just having fun. And that's like the opposite of who she is.
It's so good to have you back, girls.
Hey.
Honestly, is it nice to have your outfits back on?
Oh, yeah, I love them. John Glazer is one of the most incredible costume designers
best.
ever. One of the reasons I'll say he's particularly beautiful as well is because everybody that works for him loves working for him.
Yeah.
And I think that says so much. Like, they just love working for him.
So true.
Imagine that, like, just adoring your boss that much. He is incredible. They're not stressful. They're not, like, intense. He's really, like, fluid with everything.
Yeah.
He's a very funny man. The whole team are beautiful.
Yeah.
And they are, like, tailor-made to us throughout the season, right?
So they're comfy.
Yeah, exactly.
They
just
are,
feel
they
good.
really are. If you,
Yeah, they
You're
are.
always in fittings, like.
Yeah, you're really
What
good
do
at
you
that.
need to do? I
She's
know,
really good because she'll like lift her arms immediately to be like, I can't lift them beyond this point. I'll forget, and then I'll get to
Be
set
on
and be
set
like,
like, I can't
should've
get my cup of tea. I don't know what I do in a fitting though. It's like I assume that Francesca's going to be like lunging in every scene. Out of all of
literally
the
just sit
characters,
there.
I'll probably be fine.
yeah. Bridgerton sort of is the costume. They are the costumes as well. Like they make the world,
Yeah.
don't they?
It's everything, isn't
yeah,
it?
everything.
Yeah.
The
The
set
scenery.
design, the hair and makeup, like all of that. They do so much of the work for us. It's a real magic place to be.
And thank goodness they do it, because I'm very happy you guys are back.
Yay!
Looking forward to seeing you in part 2, girls.
Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you, Alison.
Penelope, I beg you. No similes, no analogies, no sentimentalities. I just need answers.
Okay, well, I was so excited to chat to Hannah and Claudia. Weren't they a treat? So we've met the sisters. Let's meet the matriarch behind them, Ruth Gemmell, who plays Lady Violet, who is not just a fan favourite, she's one of my favourites too. She wears many hats: mother, grandmother, respectable society lady, and steamy little teapot. I sat down with her and Luke Thompson, who plays her son Benedict, to talk Bridgerton family dynamics.
Benedict,
Hello, Mother.
you are 2 hours late yet again. You were meant to chaperone Eloise.
I have been here. Perhaps you did not recognise me in my mask.
You know, I do not believe that we are serving gin this evening, and yet I can smell it all over you.
Ruth, Luke, it's so lovely to have you on my podcast.
It's lovely to be
It's
here.
nice to be here.
And what about being in the Bridgerton
I
setting?
know. I really
It
like
feels
that.
nice, doesn't it?
It's
Yeah.
nicer the second time. It
Is
doesn't.
it?
It doesn't lose its glow.
It doesn't lose a go. Well, you're with your mum now.
Yeah.
This lovely relationship.
Yeah.
What a wonder to see you two and your relationship change. First of all, Ruth, what's it like seeing Luke take
take it.
centre stage?
It's fantastic. He's lovely to work with. It's a real joy. Although,
Are you just
I have to
saying
say-
that? You
No,
sure?
he makes me corpse.
Does
You
he?
do. You do
Don't
make me
make
corpse.
you corpse. No. Well, we're a bad combo for that.
Yeah, we
I
are
think.
really.
We feed
Sometimes we
off
can't
each
look at
other's
each
energy.
other.
Yes.
What's
was
the
a-
worst thing he's done, Ruth? Come on, you can offload here.
There was a scene that actually had nothing to do with us other than we just had to look, and we couldn't look at each other
Yeah,
at
and
all.
the camera, it was fine for the first few shots, and then the camera got closer and closer.
It was
and we got
dreadful.
more and more hysterical.
Absolutely dreadful.
And you can tell when the crew are a bit like, come on, guys. But it's just when it's in you, when the demon's in you, you can't.
It's because you're not
You can't
supposed
hold
to
it
do
in.
it.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
you're not supposed
funny,
to,
isn't it?
it's
Yeah.
the worst.
You've had moments like that.
A few.
Yeah?
One or two, you might have been privy to it. Some of my best bits are the worst bits, for me anyway. Let's get into this because it is such a beautiful relationship. However, Violet is not very happy with Benedict's extracurricular activities going on in the bachelor pad. How did she react when she was in the bachelor pad?
I think she was expecting a bit of a bit of mess. I think she was quite shocked. And I think discovering the women there was kind of really, that was a step too far, really. Yeah. He's disappointed her quite a lot at the moment because you've taken the reins. You've taken the
Yes.
reins from Anthony and you're not turning up, or you turn up drunk, or you don't come at
late.
all, or late.
And late's
so,
interesting, right? Because you always wonder when someone's being late if it's deliberate. They can sort of say, oh, sorry.
it's deliberate.
But it's
It's
deliberate.
deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think Violet truly wants from
To
Benedict?
settle down. He needs to take responsibility. I kind of want that for all my kids, really. I'm really quite an overbearing mother. I am. I am.
Do you think Benedict wants the same for himself?
I think he's trying to reconcile what's settling down, or the idea of, I think in his head he hears settling down, and because he values his freedom so highly, I think he sees it as something boring or something that will restrict him. And actually, in a strange kind of way, freedom after a while kind of restricts you, because it can become a bit of a cage. You get a bit lost in just sort of trying to constantly, just find new stuff. And actually there's huge excitement and value in settling down or choosing someone and committing to someone. But I think Benedict has to work that out for himself. It's one of the things that mums know, I think, and mums can say again and again, but she's using the words that don't quite square with his
No.
idea yet.
No.
Yet. I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes
But
a while.
your relationship definitely takes a little shift when the woman in silver comes along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it change your relationship?
After I've had a conversation with Penelope,
Yes.
and I understand that she's writing about Benedict, I think I kind of like that scene where she kind of runs rings around you.
Yeah.
It's good fun, and it's kind of nice then because finally you see that I can be of use.
Yeah, and there's that lovely moment sort of threading through with Eloise on the swings where the final thing Benedict says is, oh, our mother may surprise you.
Yeah.
And I love that because I think it's like he's like, oh yeah, I can see that there's something of value here. Obviously, it's lined up with the fact that he has met this mysterious lady.
Yeah.
But he's quite secretive, Benedict, so it takes a while to
give in.
To give in. But when he does, I think he's willing to sort of give it a go and see if he can be of use. And he
Yeah.
can be of use.
But you can see how much they truly love each other, especially you. But he introduced you to this girl called Sophie.
Yes.
And straight away, there's been a bit of gossip going on, so
Yeah.
you're like a bit dubious. But as soon as he said, look, she saved my life, you're in.
Absolutely.
And you love him that much.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll accept this stranger in.
Yeah, and I trust him implicitly. I might be irritated by him. I'm irritated by all the children, but I love them equally.
And you understand their love life, don't you? You get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You get where they're at.
I'm a step ahead of most of them, aren't I? I wish I was like that in life. I really do.
Well, it's instinct, isn't it? She just has
Yeah.
an instinct for things, I think, like a lot of mums do, I think.
Yeah.
They just know somewhere.
Ruth, why do you think Violet takes such a shine to Sophie? What is it?
I think she's intrigued by her. I think she's surprised by, this woman is educated in a way that staff wouldn't have been then, and I think she's intrigued by that. I think they have a conversation and she finds out that she doesn't have her parents anymore, and I think that means something to her. And I see somebody who's hardworking and somebody who saved my son's life, and I grow very fond of her. So it's kind of a very tentative. As soon as I realise there's some kind of spark between the two of you, it's something I have to stop because you can ruin her, really.
What's so interesting is that Benedict is not scared to tell his mum about herself. He's not scared of her at all, is he?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. Like, I think he holds things back from her, but I think she's the person that's very difficult for him to really get angry at. Like, I think that whole family has been knit by the dad dying. I
Yeah.
think. And so, Benedict has seen his mum mourn and all of them mourn. And so, they are a family so close and so united, I think, because of grief.
That grief.
They've held each other very tightly
Yeah.
growing up. And the problem is when you fall in love, you falling in love or falling for someone is a little door outside of that family unit. You never really leave it, but
It's a new
it's a
part,
new
isn't it?
part, and so it's doubly hard if the family unit is knit by
Yeah.
that memory of something horrible happening. And that's also like, sadly, that's Benedict's example of like a loving relationship is his mum losing everything. So you can see
Yeah.
why it takes him a while to really open up, I think.
Maybe that's the reason why he struggles with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the death of his father.
Definitely. I think that's definitely a part of
So
it.
I'm getting into my actor mode now.
Yeah.
Look at me. When you're preparing for these roles, though, how much work beforehand do you put into it? Do you have a little notebook? How does it work?
Right at the very beginning, I read all the books and I used to go back to them. But I think the scripts quite often now take a slightly different path. So I've had to just go...
You're like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of leave them behind. But I did write down from every single book. I wrote things down about how you all talked about me or how I talked about you lot, or so that I had some kind of reference, even
Yeah.
if they made no sense. And quite often some script will come along and it'll make no sense whatsoever. But it's helped me to kind of gear into it.
Yeah, and you go back to it and just have a little
Yeah,
look.
we started this in 2019.
Yeah, so there's a nice sort of bedrock
yeah,
of
there's
stuff that's already there.
a history there
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, there is a history.
Because if you're doing a play, I guess, or something like that, you have to create all this history. But here, with a long-form TV thing, there's this huge... there is already a backstory. The backstory is the story.
It's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got the other backstory of the fact that the cast in real life, you're making a bond there as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Totally, you have that
becoming
affinity
family
already.
in another way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
That's
No,
so
right.
lovely.
Yeah.
What do you think Violet would have said if she knew that Benedict had asked Sophie to be a mistress?
She'd be appalled.
Do you think?
Yeah. 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 Look, I said that like your mum.
Yeah.
But really and truly, Benedict, he only ever saw that as the only way because he couldn't see that another way.
You know
with
what?
regards
You're a
to
real
class.
Benedict champion. I've spoken to many journalists, and a lot of people are appalled by Benedict. But I feel
No,
like
do you know what?
I feel like you're really in his corner, and I really appreciate it.
With every person, you've got to see the positives in them as well. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And see
Yeah.
where they're coming from.
Yes.
So he does do some dick moves.
Yeah.
But you've got to kind of
Yes.
understand. He didn't
Right.
see another way out.
No, I think it's his idea, I think, of a really good offer. And I think it's his idea of...
You'll ruin her.
Yes, but it's also sort of striking because it's sort of so, we've seen this very soft, relaxed, easy side of Benedict. And actually, at his centre, he is very anxious about love. The fact that he's like, okay, well, you can be my mistress and then I'll be in society. It feels very sort of like, I always say he looks a bit like a sort of traditional man turned inside out, like
It's
all
how
the soft
everyone else
stuff is
operates.
outside.
Yeah.
And the bit slightly more controlled side is very well hidden. It's a solution that will work for him, though. I do think what I will say in his defence is Sophie hasn't told him that she's holding back as well, because she hasn't told him that she's the lady in silver.
I know.
know? So we're
why
both being a bit...
Why did he not recognise her?
Yeah.
Come on.
I know.
It's all in the mouth.
I know.
You was dreaming about the mouth the whole time.
We're all
You
a
were
bit dim
painting.
in society.
know.
In the ton, they're all a bit dim. I mean, it's like we're all a bit surprised when we take the mask off and it's a bit like...
But, we cannot... I also think, on a sort of more metaphorical level, I do think everyone is blind up to a point. Everyone has huge blind spots. We all have that friend or friends, or even ourselves that we look at, and there's a part of us that we just don't see and we don't understand, and that can last for years,
Right, let's talk about Lord Anderson. And you're taking things very slow at the moment, and I absolutely love it. How does Violet navigate this with obviously the death of Edmund? How does she navigate this new relationship in her life?
I think she thinks she's being really discreet. But a bit of a sledgehammer, really, isn't it? There's a moment between her and Mrs. Wilson, because she can't actually talk about sex. So, she was slightly better with Francesca, but not much better than she was with Daphne. So when she talks to Mrs. Wilson, she can only describe it in terms of someone coming round for tea. I think that thing that Mrs. Wilson says, she says, everyone deserves tea. And I can't,
Yeah.
But what does that even say about you as a character, Violet as a character, as a woman? The fact that
I can't talk
her
about
maid
it.
would cover for her. Do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
I know.
And do that. She was so
know.
lovely.
Yeah.
I hope she's not sitting outside the door.
She might have been.
She might
But
just-
what an iconic line. Surely
Yeah.
you're going to make a T-shirt with that on, maybe a hat. I am the tea.
There's another funny one where you go, I have a friend.
I know. I have a friend.
When's that bit, Lou?
when it's Hyacinth recital
Yes,
and they're
it's
setting
later.
up for it, and
Maybe
I'm introducing the fact that to the kids that I have a friend.
And do you think the kids know, don't they? They're
No,
not
they
stupid.
haven't a clue.
Do you think they know?
No.
No, I don't think...
They're not remotely interested.
Benedict knows deep down his mum's having a little bit on the side, doesn't she?
I'm not as
know.
discreet
I
as
think
I think
kids-
I am.
Yeah, and I think particularly kids who are busy discovering their own love lives, it's almost like they can't... It's almost like they have to factor their... It's why they can kids can be a bit funny about parents... like having sex and all of that. I think it is just, you're like, I can't think about that because I have to focus on me.
Yeah.
But
But I'm
it's
so
self-absorbed
glad.
in a
I'm
way.
so glad that she's actually given herself this
Yeah.
joy.
Yeah.
She's always concentrating on someone
Yeah.
else.
Agreed.
This is her
Time.
time, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a great line in part 1. Reality is where love grows. How does this shape Benedict?
It's the beginning of him learning that lesson, I think. I think he would eventually, further down the line, might retort to Violet that actually fantasy is also... it's the combination, I think, of... For Benedict, I think, his way of loving, I think there's, yes, reality. And actually what happens at the end of episode 4 is his version of okay, I'm going to be realistic about this. But I think what he realises he also has to be true to the part of him that is a bit purer and a bit more fantastical about all of those things. And I think there was this really good tagline, which Jess told me, the showrunner, which is, between reality and fantasy, true love meets in the middle, is the meeting point of reality and fantasy. The fantasy part is not just the honeymoon period. You need a bit of innocence and a bit of magic occasionally to get you through the hard bit.
What do you think, Ruth?
I think that's true. I think that's a really lovely line. That it's a shame that it's...
I know.
Yeah.
But it is effectively, that is the story, because Sophie is more realistic and Benedict is more of a fantasist. So that's their story.
And that fairy
That's
tale.
where true love meets. It's sort of in the middle. It has to be a bit of both. Which I'm sure Violet agrees with, but he hears reality and he's like, yes, there is something to be said about that. But then his version of being realistic is doing what he does at the end of 4, and that doesn't go so well.
No, it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
Tell me about the scenes where you're all together, the group scenes. Have those dynamics changed over the seasons?
The family scenes.
Yeah, not
no.
much. No.
Has it not?
No. I think crew find them really irritating because we just arse about.
Yeah.
We really do. There's a lot of laughter.
Yeah.
But that was true since day one,
Yeah,
wasn't it? And it just
yeah.
hasn't let up, has it?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And Luke, did your brothers, Jonathan and Luke, give you any advice on taking the lead role?
I know that had I wanted advice and had wanted to go to them, they
Yeah.
would absolutely give me. And knowing that that was the case, maybe made it easier for me to just slightly go it alone. But I think the reason why I wanted to go it alone a bit is that I think, having watched them over the last few seasons, like, it's such an individual. It's so different for everyone. The pressures and the things that actors find stressful in that position of leading a show
Yeah.
are so different depending on the actor, and different actors will find different things difficult.
What did you find difficult?
I think I found.
Did you eat well?
Oh,
Did you exercise?
Yeah, I did all of those things.
Did you drink water?
Yeah, I think you know what
I
it
did
is.
none of
I think
those
I got frustrated. Like, sometimes I think when your mind is really working, but your body is giving up. There was one point where I got the flu.
No.
And I remember lying at home furious because I was like, I'm holding everything up. This is so annoying. And also just wanting to, get on with it. Like, the shoot has
And
a
you
proper
need your
momentum.
voice.
Yeah. Being in a leading position like that, you actually get so much energy. You feed off everyone else, and everyone's available to you because you're in and out, you're in there every day.
Yeah.
So it's not a question of mental energy. It was just, and so that's why it was so annoying when my
Physically?
body
gave
just
up.
gave up.
What about you? You didn't drink any water. What are you
no.
doing?
Well, because you're in this corset, going to the toilet is a fucking nightmare. Honestly, it's a real. So then you stop drinking. So then you give yourself some kind of infection, and then by the time you go home, you're knackered. You don't bother exercising. So, but come the end of the year, the end of the season, I put on so much weight.
Really?
Yeah, my tits are up here under those corsets. Honestly, it's a nightmare. Everything gets just shoved up to the top. It's a disaster.
So, just out of interest, do you think Violet thrives off her children's love lives, or do you think she just gets sick of it?
I think there's a bit of both. I think she's a bit of a gossip. Before she knew Lady Whistledown was Penelope, I think she found it an irritant and a bit of manna from heaven because it's the ton. I think those children irritate her and she loves them equally. I really do.
Fair.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Do you think you're loved equally as a child of the Bridgerton household?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
good.
so. Yeah. I think Benedict's problem that actually I think is mentioned in the book is the idea of, like, he's the man who would like to feel a little less of a Bridgerton, a little bit more of himself.
Yeah.
A little bit more himself. And so I think through who you are, like, Violet represents that family. So it's trying to put a distance, but not, that doesn't mean sort of cutting off, but it means trying to sort of work out who he is and how
And independence.
and independence, whilst also, not wanting to abandon his family or his mum or,
Yeah.
I think which is, universal stuff, right? Everyone knows what that's like.
Can I just say, I am loving part one.
Good.
Absolutely loving it. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me.
Oh, pleasure.
Ruth?
Real pleasure.
We're going to have another session, me and
Yes.
you, without a doubt. And maybe another session with you, who
Surely.
knows? Not that kind of session. Or maybe. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for joining
very
our
much.
podcast.
Thank you.
Well, that's it. That's our show. A big thanks to my wonderful guests, Hannah Dodd and Claudia Jesse, Luke Thompson and the wonderful Ruth Gemmell. Now, Ruth will be back next episode with her man, Lord Anderson, played by Daniel Francis. I've got so much I want to ask them. Let's just hope our chat's not too rude to broadcast. We'll also have Yurin Haar back, joined by her wicked stepmother, Katie Leung. Don't worry, she's lovely in real life. See you then.